did Marvel Cinematic Universe change the comics? That intro. Hey Marvelites, Ryan here, wait for it, your friendly little bad guy, the Rhino, part of Marvelite HQ, the channel where we eat, drink, and breathe comics. Did you know that comics have influenced many movies and TV shows that we watch and love? Obvious, right? As you know, the Marvel movies and shows are based off notable Marvel comics, and the DC films based off DC comics. Heck, even Men in Black and Kick-Ass were based off some form of comic. Did you know that Kingsman, The Secret Service, one of my favorite movies, was based off Icon Comics, an imprint of Marvel Comics? It was called The Secret Service, and was written by Mark Miller and Dave Gibbons. But little do people know that sometimes there have been occasions where the comics, more specifically Marvel comics, have been changed in order of the movies. Here are some cases where the movies actually influenced the comics. Marvel has released box office smashes and TV hits, tying all of their properties into one large connected cinematic universe. The success of this new cinematic universe also transformed Marvel Comics, especially after the company started incorporating key concepts from its movies and TV shows into its comic books, likely to increase sales. Now that Marvel is even bigger than ever imagined, its comics books more closely resemble its movies and TV series. We're trying to see the ripple effect. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. As you know, if you watch my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video, check that out here by the way, #self-advertising, I am an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fanboy, so I'm happy about this. Back to the point, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Phil Coulson never appeared in the comics, as he was made in the movies, but quickly became a fan favorite in several Marvel films, including The Avengers. His character sadly died in that film, but because he was so popular, Marvel brought him back for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series. Marvel even added the character to the comics, along with its Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. buddies, Agent May, Simmons, and Fitz. Now, the character in the comics looks similar to Clark Gregg, the actor who portrays him on the screen. And as of 2016, there is now a comic book series based off it. Quake becomes a human named Scott. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series storylines went over so well, Marvel decided to change their existing Inhuman character, Quake, aka Daisy Junction, to become like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character, Skye. The comics now mirror the TV's origin story for the character, with her mother being an Inhuman as well. Also, now Quake's father, Mr. Hyde, looks a lot like Carly McLachlan, who plays Skye's dad on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series. Funny, in the show, she was a normal girl named Skye who becomes an Inhuman named Daisy. And in the comics, she is an Inhuman who becomes a normal girl named Skye. Nick Fury. Nick Fury was a white war veteran and super spy, and was originally created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the 60s. But when writer Mark Miller and artist Brian Hitch helped launch Marvel's Ultimate Universe back in 2000, Fury was reanimated as an American African character based on Samuel L. Jackson. When it came to cast Fury in the first Iron Man, there was the Ultimate Universe model that Marvel used for the base of the character, not the classic version from the 60s. So how did Marvel reconcile the fact that there was a white Nick Fury in the mainstream and a black version in the $50 billion franchise and the Ultimate Comics? They introduced Nick Fury Jr. in the mainstream universe, a character who is the son of the original white Nick Fury, but looks exactly like Samuel L. Jackson. Coincidence, right? Then, the original Nick Fury was done away during the original Sin comic event, leaving Nick Fury Jr. as the sole Fury of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hawkeye gets a familiar costume. We all know the old purple fox-eyed Hawkeye, but shortly after Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye appearance on screen for the first time in Thor, with an official appearance in the Avengers, his costume no longer had a mask, and his purple costume became matter, or had very little purple anymore. He has also got a reboot, getting his new unsleeved costume and a backstory closer to the movies. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Because the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the X-Men universe were two very separate cinematic universes, it did make sense for Marvel to include both Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in the Avengers Age of Ultron, because the two were previously members of the Merry Band of Evil Mutants. However, Marvel decided to change all that in the comics, finally stated that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are not mutants in Uncanny Avengers issue 4, which highlighted Wanda and Pietro's origins. Now, like the film, These two were experimented by a deranged scientist, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Up until Marvel's release of the unlikely hit film, Guardians of the Galaxy, the characters were pretty unknown in the comic universe. In fact, when the film was announced, most Marvel fans that knew them really just said, why them? But after the film's release, though Guardians of the Galaxy was suddenly everywhere, now Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord had their own titles, new plans for Gamora, Drax, and Groot. Iron Man even joined the forces with them. Star-Lord got the same jacket from the movie. Marvel releases new comics starring characters with upcoming films. Not too long ago, Marvel announced several new and relaunched comic book titles, some of which these names seem familiar because they'll go and get their own solo movie outings, or will appear in a future non-solo movie. One of the most anticipated Marvel movies is probably Doctor Strange, and I'm sure it's no coincidence that the character has gotten his new title. If I had to guess, I'd say he's going to look a lot like Benedict Cumberbatch. There's also a new Captain Marvel movie in the works, and that comic book too has seen a relaunch. Daredevil got a relaunch too, thanks to the amazing Netflix series, along with the relaunch of the Deadpool comic series. Web shooters, no more. Peter Parker is known mostly for his role as Spider-Man, but without his web shooters, Spidey wouldn't even be that far by now. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies that came out in 2002, Parker had organic webs. With the popularity of the movie, for quite a long time in the comics, Spider-Man upgraded to organic webs, getting produced by himself, all the way to the series One More Day in 2007. That's 5 whole years. Well, that is only some of the ways that the MCU and other Marvel movies impacted the comics. Marvel started tweaking their comic books to reflect movies as far back as 1999 with Blade, changing the characters' skills to match those seen in the movies. The company also changed the costumes of its X-Men comics to match what the characters wore in the film. But were there any more notable times I missed? Head down to the comment section below and tell us. Thanks to a post that me and Alex made on our old website with the same title as this video. Thanks for watching the video, and check out our very last video on the channel, X-Men Apocalypse End Credit Scene by our very own Mr. Sinister, and a recommended video for you to watch, or even watch again, the new MCU lineup. It is quite an oldie, but a goodie. Check out our Google Plus page, our website, and Comics Amino account. Links in the description. Like and share with all your friends, or even your enemies, and subscribe to see more videos like this, and many others. This has been the Rhino from Marvelite HQ, and cut!